Okay, so your sun, Leo, it goes over to Jupiter into Virgo, then it hits the Venus, then it hits the Pluto, then it hits Uranus. Okay, so her progressed sun, I just wanted to go back to see when it hit the Pluto. It was hit the Pluto in 2010. Progressed sun conjunct Pluto in the natal chart. And then progressed Mars went into the third house, still in Libra, it went, and how can this be? 1 second. Progressed sun, progressed Mars. Oh yeah, okay, so progressed Mars is progressed Mars just in Sag, yeah, it's gone into Sag, just going into the third house. This was 2010. Then the Mercury in 2011 went into the first house. Mercury had moved up and gone through the 12th house. It's gone into this Libra stage. It's gone into, and then went into the first house. So then, okay, but I really went back just to get the Pluto date from this one. And then you go along and you see 2013, the progressed sun will come up and hit Uranus. So 2010 it hits Pluto, 2013 it hits Uranus. These are going to be big interchanges. That kind of dealing with confrontation of Pluto progressed sun touching that 2010, and then 2013 conjuncting Uranus. These are conjunctions. These are powerful points. That sun's really walking in and facing this. It's in the 12th house. It's facing inner old fears and inner things, and it's moving beyond it. Now, I did those two things. I wanted to get those dates, and this happened to go beyond. This is like 5 years before the normal, 5 years early, 5 years back for progressions. So this is progressions 2014, it picks up from there. Then Mercury opposes Saturn from, so let's see it, 2015 September, Mercury opposes Saturn. But you know, Mercury opposing Saturn is going to be for a year or so before or after. I bet a year before or after. So that was the Mercury hitting the Saturn. Mercury's coming along, and it was over here, just passed over the ascendant, opposing the Saturn. Okay, that might cause some worries or having to rethink Saturn, Dad, whatever. And then it's okay. So it goes along. It's Pluto, Uranus comes along. Then here it says 2018 in July, Venus went stationary direct. Okay, so that's a huge thing, the stationary direct. That's at 2738 of Leo. And that's a changing around of what one's looking for, to one's values, all the way through this. And then there's 2021, December, when the progressed sun goes into Libra. Okay, so I'm just getting a few of these dates. Now, what's this 2022 progressed natal? Okay, we don't, I need this. No, okay, we're gonna go on. There's something I want to show you in the progressed to progressed. Okay, and maybe I can do this better with some charts over here. I'll have it all. Okay, so we had, let me get the progressed to natal. Where are we here? Okay, here we go. I'll pull this over here. I know I'm taking long, but I determined to do this because it's too, I think, too incredible to not do it. But in her progressed natal chart, or the progressions to the natal chart, we had 2010. I'm seeing it out because you can't see it that well. We had 2010, the progressed sun conjunct Pluto. Progressed sun had moved along conjunct Pluto. We don't get Pluto hitting everything, but the sun hits the outer planets. That's a big deal. The Mercury and Venus moving, hitting the outer planets is a big deal in progressions. It's not with the transits because it only lasts a couple of days, but here it's a few years when it's in the progressions. So at 2010, the progressed sun conjunct Pluto, but by the time, from the time you were born, the progressed Pluto has moved a bit. So when you look at the progressed chart, it's not till 2012 in February that the progressed Sun conjuncts Pluto in the progress to progress chart. So this is the same aspect, and it's progress to progress and the progress to your natal. So sometimes the progress will hit the progression, sometimes, usually the progressed Sun will hit the progressed natal chart first, and then it hits the progression. But if the progressed Pluto was going retrograde, or if your Mercury was going Pluto was going retrograde, your progressed Sun would hit the progressed Pluto first. So it can hit the progressed Sun first and then go to progressed, or it can hit the progressed one. But there's an interval between the two, which is the crisis interval of the time it takes to really deal with this element. So some of these things are large phases, but this is the Sun, and it's from 2010 August to 2012 February 17th, when it was exact, and then a year before. So you could say from 2009 till 2013, her progressed Sun was really working on Pluto, on fears, on confrontations, on working through things, on control issues, or was dealing with control issues. Truth, that's really therapeutic, that's really intense, but it wasn't easy. What's real? That's the one. So by the time 2013 comes, when you finish that in 2016, then a couple of years after that, that's a 4 or 5 year phase, 2 years exact, but then a year before, year after, you have this delay of the progressed to natal and the progressed to progress is a useful thing. So to just see, it tells you how long a complex or how long a special struggle will go on inwardly. So you can have something come up and go down in transits, and you're still working on it in your progressions. So usually when the progressed Sun is coming up like conjunct Pluto, say from 2009 until 2013 till it finishes outside the 1 degree orb, any Pluto aspect that would be happening by transits would be magnified and really tied into this Sun progression. And since the Sun is progression, the Pluto, it's in the 12th house, it's dealing with it's dealing with spiritual issues and what's stopping the spiritual issues and what's opening them, what's forcing them to open. Whenever you get the progressions, unique things open up, and they take extra time because you run into it, you go, oh, look at that. You follow it a bit till you get it into perspective. In 2016, her progressed Sun conjuncts Uranus. Chart up again for a second. Progressed Sun just hit Pluto, then it's conjunction Uranus. So you can imagine this just without even an ephemeris. You can see, oh, it's going to hit that and that. When abouts, you can count the degrees, add the years, you can get close. But the progressed, you have to just see, because that you need the progressed chart to know how far Pluto's moved or how far Uranus has moved. But Uranus, when it hits Uranus, 2016 August, the progressed Sun doesn't hit Uranus. The progressed hits Uranus. The progressed Sun hits Uranus 2013. So it hits the progressed to the natal. It hits the progressed natal in September 2013, it hits the progressed to progressed in 2016. So it's 3 years it's working on, from 13 to 16, really from 12 to 17. So this was the changes of hitting the Pluto from 2009 to 2013. Then it hits the Uranus from 2013, 12, 13, right to 2017. And after it's finishes hitting the Uranus, she picks up coming up to take the astrology classes again. And she'd been through them once, she'd been through them before, so she's come through them again another time. Because she's looking from a whole different perspective now. It's so much has changed within. So this adds depth to knowing astrology. You learn it at one level, and then it ties into your progressions, and you're learning it again. You've added a whole new scope of how you're seeing it. This is hugely rich when it comes to being able to advise other people, because you've got through something special here that many other people would never go through. Okay, so I just wanted to point out this. So I always have the 5-year, the 4 or 5 years back of progressions, and the 5 years, at least 5 years, but usually 5 years back, 5 years forward for the progressed to the natal and the progressed to progressed in the matrix search. And then I highlight the main ones. I don't highlight the moon ones, I highlight the main ones. And but the progressed to progressed, I don't worry about the angles, because we know from looking at the angles, It may look like it's there for a couple of years, but really it's hitting it for just a few days, moving on and going, because the midheaven and the angle is really moving so fast across it. So I don't really accentuate the outer planets to the angles in the progress to the natal chart. Totally I do. So that's the difference with us. So, okay, now we've got another. So we saw the Mercury, we've got a place of the Venus, and what Venus is, that's really turning emotionally around. We're looking at the progressions, we look back and we saw, wow, 2017, she just finished doing the Sun conjunct Uranus, and now she's starting the astrology classes. Okay, so what I want to do here is take a jump. So we have an idea, and I want to take this a bit further. We're going to take, here's, okay, there's two things I want to share. So going back to the progressed sun for a minute. Okay, I'm going to come out and pull this over here. We got the progressed sun, and this is just taking from, really the blue mark is August 16th, which is last week, where the progressed sun was last week, 2755 of Virgo. So it's near the end of that. So it goes into 29 Virgo, or it goes to 28 Virgo, November 16th. Okay, the progressed sun goes out of 27th to 28th degree, goes into the 29th. I call it 29th degree, 28 to 29. It's in the 29th degree, like you're 10 years old. Okay, you're 6 months old, you're in your first year. You're not 1 year old, you're in your first year. But so here, it's at 28 degrees, you're really in the 29th. 28 degrees plus something is the 29th degree, and 29 to 30 is the 30. So I just marked in the amount of time, this 1 year, November 5th to November 13th, when it's in this 1 degree. 28, 42, 28 degrees to 29 degrees of Virgo. Now, this is on our printout. This is on the RASA Lite or Astro7 astrology printout with the I Ching, which is the program I'm hoping to redo and make it available as an app to go with the classes. But there's enough little errors that come up in this that I don't want to release it like it is. Like, well, we'll see. Okay, first, here's the sun. So it's going through that 1 degree. As it goes through that degree, it's in, you can see it's a Virgo, it's in a Pisces pentan, and it's going through the Capricorn to the Aquarius pentan, subpentan on this finest level. There's 3 levels of this. So the progress is in the Virgo, it's got a Pisces compassionate, mysterious side, understanding side going on. And then there's a Saturn, Capricorn, Aquarius inner theme inside of that. Developing, this is the progressed sun. So this is the texture. So the progressed sun, then it has a hexagram and a line of a hexagram that it's going through. I've highlighted it here. Hexagram 7, line 2. This is the hexagram called the army. Okay, now the names of the hexagrams aren't the best. So I'm going to, at some point, I may try and rewrite them to be more astrologically suitable. But right now, this is the end of Virgo. So we're going to take this is my I Ching book on the I Ching and how it fits to astrology, how it's a zodiac of 64 divisions, and each line is the degree of the zodiac. So this is 1 degree, 1 year. Gotta go through here down to the last one in Virgo.